I always wanted to be a farmer. I loved going out and baling the hay and messing with the cows and plowing the fields, even at a very early age. You know, with my grandfather, I was right next to him most of the time, whether it was riding to go check the cows at night in the unair-conditioned pickup truck or, you know, doing something fun like going to the farm show. I would say by the time I was 8, maybe 9, I would go to the field and I would run a tractor just like the other farm hands would. And my grandmother was Mary Lou Cooper.
That just sounds country.
Oh, very country. And it was like on TV, you know, you'd go work in the field, you'd come home at lunch and eat fast, but you would always have great steak and then back to the field until about dark.
I grew up in Ponca City in Oklahoma, so I didn't grow up in a big city or anything, but I always thought it would be so cool to grow up and work in a high-rise and wear a business suit and pointy heels every single day and have my name on the door. So I always wanted to live in a big city. After college, I loaded up a 1970s U-Haul and drove across the country to San Francisco and just about gave my poor mom a heart attack, but got a job in San Francisco as a wedding planner on high-end yachts. And here I am, a little girl from Oklahoma, sitting on a yacht under the Golden Gate Bridge planning weddings, and it was like my dream job. And then after that, I moved to New England and again was a wedding and event planner for high-end weddings for brides that came from New York City and Boston. I got into real estate after being in the wedding planning industry, and it actually is very much the same process as far as initially you meet a couple and you go show them a piece of dirt or you talk about their dreams, they write you a great big check, and then you're in this relationship together for about a year or so, and you go through a lot of emotional highs and lows, and the family comes in with all of their opinions and everything, and there will be stressful moments, and then there's fun moments, and in the end, though, no matter what, they're married and people are happy, or they have their brand new custom home and they're happy. So they actually are very similar in processes.
You know, my favorite homes are the ones that have a soul, the ones that are built on family land, the ones that are built with, you know, reclaimed materials from the grandfather's home that was torn down 25 years ago, or, you know, a story behind all of that kind of stuff. So the homes of the soul are my favorite. The first large home we built here in Edmond, they put a lot of thought into it, and we were able to get some reclaimed doors from Boston. I found
them on eBay, right?
That's right, off of eBay, and from the 1890s, and it came off of a carriage house in Boston. So I had the doors cut in half, and I had them shipped here from Boston. The shipping costs more than the doors, quite a bit more. But I got them here and got them refinished.
I remember they were all flaky, the paint was flaking off, but they actually had the leaded glass, diamond-shaped leaded glass still intact.
Yeah,
that was the cool part, and they were huge. That's one of the things that I love most about the homes is the vintage, the reclaimed pieces that we put into the homes that tell a story. Anybody can build a wood barn door, and anybody could even distress it and everything. But when you put in a piece like that has a history and tells a story, even if you have to guess what the story is, it gives the home a soul. So we actually have several homes that have barn doors in them that used to be in their grandfather's or their great-grandfather's farm. We have one couple, and they actually had it's a wagon wheel that was actually on the covered wagon that their ancestors rolled into Oklahoma on the covered wagon. So they had this wheel, and she told me that it's been sitting out in like the garden for like all of her childhood growing up and everything, 4 generations. They've just had it outside. And so they had the opportunity to build their dream home. And one of the very first conversations we had, she said, it's so important to me. I want to put this wagon wheel inside the home. So they took it to Urban Farmhouse and they wired it up with Edison bulbs and everything. And we made like a chandelier, like a really cool light fixture that hangs in the vaulted ceiling in their living room. So it's those pieces that we really don't have a whole lot to do with, but make the homes for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember very specifically the day when we came up with the name OklaHome. We were driving down the road and you had been doing high-end remodels and house flips forever, and I had been in the building industry too, and we just decided, let's start building homes, and it just made sense. And we were driving down the road and I remember we talked about what would we name it, and it just popped in one of our heads, OklaHome, but we were like, surely somebody's thought of that before. And lo and behold, we got to have the name. And then I remember we looked at each other and we wanted to figure out what was our style going to be. What type of homes did we want to build? And with you growing up on a farm, wishing you could be a farmer when you grew up, farmhouse style just fit you. And I've always liked the more modern lines, sleek, white subway tile. I liked the modern style. And so we always, it's always been kind of this juxtaposition of our personalities that didn't seem to go together, but then all of a sudden, modern farmhouse popped up, and that was just us. It just made sense. And then we got lucky that that style became really popular, and now you see it all over HGTV. But in the beginning, it just was kind of like, because you're weird and I'm weird and we're weird together. Kind of like Green Acres. And that always just kind of fit because he wears a John-Deere t-shirt.
I wore my nice one though today.
There's no holes in it or anything. He literally wears a John-Deere t-shirt every day of his life. He's got a whole closet full.
And you're like Zsa Zsa Gabor. No. You would much rather be in New York City and not out there on the farm with a cow. I'm not sure, I think a cow would actually scare you a little bit.
Well, it might get, my pointy heels might sink into the ground and I might get dirty. So
terrible.
You can have the cows. It was always our dream before actually we even met each other to have a family business someday.
And now we're doing it. We're living that every day. We love being here in Edmond. We want to stay here in Edmond. We travel around a little bit though. We've been to, going out on family land in the country, Mulhall or Union City, some of those out of the way places. I love going to family land and building on those family land. We've got a great one getting ready to start in Ponca City up there, and they've had a dream for many years and thought about it for a long time and are now going to put that dream together.
One huge industry trend that I can see is we have a lot of clients, families buying land together, or maybe it's been in the family for generations, but they're asking us to build a modern farmhouse for the kids who are like our age, and then for the parents. And whether it's they're attached together, or whether they're on their land, separate homes. We're actually doing that. We bought land with my parents over in East Edmond, and they retired and moved here from Ponca City, and Craig built his in-laws their dream home, and then we plan on building a home for ourselves there on the land too. So I think as the baby boomer generation ages, families are coming together and realizing that they can help each other out either with childcare or as they age. So that's a really neat legacy that we get to build too.
We've been very blessed, and we've built some beautiful homes for some great customers, and those projects were so much fun, but we certainly couldn't do this alone. We have a team, office manager watches the contractor's bills and makes sure that everything's good there. Job site foreman, to be out there and to watch and to make sure things are going right on a daily basis. And the real estate team that are meeting with the customers, and the selections manager, and it takes a large team to be able to put this together. And we're like a big family, because whether it's the guy that cleans up after the trim carpenter and sweeps the floor, or to me, I mean, nobody's above doing anything else, and we all look out and just do it together. I know when I first told you that I wanted to wear overalls to the wedding, you were less than thrilled, but you warmed up to it a little bit after your grandfather thought it was a good idea.
Both of our grandparents, when we got married, were in their 80s, and I told him, I don't want you to have to go out and buy a new suit or anything. You guys be comfortable. It was my grandfather and his grandfather, and wear overalls. And I allowed Craig to wear overalls to our wedding as long as he wore a new suit jacket over it. But in hindsight, those pictures that we have now of Craig in his overalls and both of our grandfathers, who both are now passed, wearing overalls, hands down my favorite pictures of the entire wedding. God certainly has a sense of humor when he makes a lid for every pot.
Even if it's cast iron and covered in grease.
And the pot is stainless steel and shiny.
Building a custom home is a little bit different than buying an existing home out there. The custom home is going to have your heart, your soul into it. It's going to have all your selections, and we would love to walk down that path with you and experience all of that with you. We build every home like we're going to move into it ourselves.